The finals just had an absolutely massive update for 8.9. We'll go over all the reveals there and the update itself. That includes a new limited time mode, store updates, and additional upcoming details for the majors. We'll also check out some of the hidden things that are going to be available in the future. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, World Utopia, here back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things the finals. So first up here, as per usual, we're going to get into update 8.9. Then we'll cover some of the hidden things later and how those tie back into this update. So first off here, for the opening statement, they mentioned they have a long list of quality of life fixes, bug fixes, performance improvements. There's also some updates to some versions of the game, which we'll get onto later as well. Where the first major detail here is a new limited time mode, Blast Off Sour Core. Now this is much like the previous mode which you've had before, of course just labeled Blast Off. This version of it though actually ties directly into Ospu's Sour Core, which is actually, yes, a real energy drink that you can buy. I'll get into the sour core stuff here in a second, but as they say, you can enter a sour apple flavored section of Bernal with your tuned CL40. Has some cool effects here that you'll see, with low gravity being turned on in a 3v3 limited time mode, where you can experience it while enjoying an actual IRL Ospu's. Where they do mention this event will actually run longer than usual, so you have plenty of time to complete the contracts, earning you up to 10 free rewards here. And it's pretty cool that this is a direct tie into the actual IRL Ospu's. I myself actually did purchase a 24 pack, so if you didn't see in my previous videos, I actually do have Ospu's here with me IRL, and I am actually drinking one while working on this video this morning. Now before we move on to the rest of the patch notes, I want to quickly clarify because I do have some updates here on the pricing. Originally, I was actually able to purchase a 24 pack for around 70 bucks, which did include tax, duties, and even the tariffs, etc. I also had a $10 discount, so I believe it would have been out to around 80 bucks. But now the price has actually increased to $204 for a 24 pack, or $9.99 per can. Now I was actually able to reach out to the CEO of Pixel. Originally, I had mispronounced this to PXL, but they do actually pronounce it over there Pixel. But after reaching out to the team and the CEO, I did get an answer here about the pricing. And they did get right to the point here. They said since a whole tray of these cans is about 30 pounds, they do have to actually ship it by air, and then they get hit with tariffs on top of that. Then the door delivery, which is about another $10 to $30 for that size. Essentially with the weight and it coming from all the way to Sweden and then having to travel all the way across the air to the US. Essentially, the earlier pricing I saw was hopefully that people would add other wares to their shipping, or essentially that they would purchase other products on the website. They ended up taking a net loss of around $1,000 for this. That was why they had to do the updated pricing. They were actually taking a net loss on shipping these cans out. What they do say here, though, is they are working very hard with a co-packager in the US to get that price down to the original amount or near the same as a usual price for another energy drink. So hopefully, eventually, we do see a bit of a price decrease there. However, they do mention this might be several months to half a year at the fastest rate. So just know you might need to wait a little bit longer unless you're willing to pay the upcharge rate here. They also do give a bit of a teaser here that might be just in time for Ospu's 2.0. So maybe they do have that available then as well. If you guys have any other questions for me, I can reach out to them. But yeah, I just wanted to point out the pricing details there and why that did change. They're super honest here, and I really applaud them for their honesty on this. So hopefully they do figure that one out eventually. I have a ton more to say on that, but moving on here though, we got to get through this very quickly as we have a whole bunch to cover. So next up here, we do have the store update, which contains a few different things here like the Zestinator RPG. On top of that is the Rustler's Resolve set, which is a nice minigun skin. We have the TJ can pad that did come back, but that has been in the game already, as well as the Pop Tabs, which is earrings for Pop Tabs. And then also a really cool animated charm here called Pop and Play Pack. Just absolutely awesome, the animation on this thing. And then last but not least here, there is a new contestant pack for $7.99, which gets you 1,500 multi-bucks. Which is actually quite a steal. You're actually getting a deal on the multi-bucks as well as just getting an outfit tied with it. So very cool there. Moving past the esports stuff quickly, as I will tie that into another section. We have a ton to go over with that. But I want to get through these patch notes where they did do an update to the private match spectator. So the private match spectator mode did get a whole lot smoother and sharper here. Hosts can now set separate squad colors for players and spectators, making it easier to follow the action. While the HUD also does show who's exactly stealing a cash out, so spectators never miss a clutch moment. They've also done some cleanup things here with the round counter, and a controller bug in the lobby navigation has been fixed. Next up here, they also did do a new section here for social with the voice moderation testing. Now, to improve the quality and safety of voice chat, they're rolling out testing of voice moderation systems system to help keep conversations safe and enjoyable for everyone. And to accommodate the new system, you'll need to venture into settings and re-enable voice chat. I've kind of noticed a lot of people not in voice chat currently. You actually do have to go into your settings and re-enable this and then hit accept in the new terms. They're going to be monitoring how this tool is effective and how it helps with combating abusive chats, and hopefully making it a bit more fun for contestants in the arena. They do mention there that feedback on this is an important part of this evaluation process. Next up here is a new event XP and fan boost that's been enabled, which yes does apply to your battle pass and some extra fans for your sponsor tracks. I've noticed I've got a ton of XP while playing and basically been boosting through my battle pass levels. That's been pretty awesome to see, getting a couple levels per match. As they do mention, it's a 200% bonus for daily contracts and 150% XP for fans and other gameplay. That's gonna last until the end of the season, so pretty awesome there. One thing though they do mention, and for this next update, while it is fantastic they got this game to run on the PlayStation 4, they're actually going to be ending support for the PlayStation 4 once Season 10 does begin, and that will be on March 18th, 2026. So they're going to be focusing their support on the newer platforms. They do mention that it's becoming increasingly difficult to maintain and optimize the PlayStation 4 support. Without limiting features in certain game modes they want to create, they need to be able to kind of adapt to the newer technology. So after March 18th, that platform will no longer be able to play the game. However, your progress and purchases will still be stored in your Embark ID, so you can transfer those anywhere to play, whether it's a newer gen console or PC. They'll have more details on this going forward though. I also will say this is happening across the industry, so really don't put the blame on Embark. Recently, some much larger game titles have also ended support for PlayStation 4, and we're at the point now where the next-gen consoles are about to release here in 2026 or 2027. So realistically, at this point, you should update and upgrade if you can do so. I get that's a hard ask for some, but yeah, we are getting to the point where we're basically going to be 2 generations back at that point for the PlayStation 4. And honestly, Embark has been one of the longer-lasting ones here for PlayStation 4 support. As I mentioned, this is happening across the entire industry and across multiple game genres. They've actually ended support this year for PlayStation 4, so the fact that they were able to push it to March 18th is pretty nice there. Moving on here, and kind of next up, we do have some new rewards, which are with Twitch drops and the OFF Sour Core. So a bunch of new OFF cosmetics that you can snag, and you could get all 3 drops here for just watching a streamer for 3 hours. That does have to be under the finals category, but it can be anybody in the finals category. So very nice there, it's not limited to a few. Next up here, they do have some improvements for the quality of life and a few bug fixes I do want to go over. Not going to cover each and every single thing here, we'll be here all day listing these out, but just some of the more major ones. The first up here is the improvements to quality of life. With this update, they've added the addition of instant replays to Xbox Series S, which is quite the achievement there, getting that running on that. They've also nailed down an annoying bug that prevented players from using respawn tokens after being revived while in a loadout change screen, and they're digging deep into the performance of this patch as well, identifying many of the in-game stutters that have been caused with high memory pressure. So this update will be bringing major optimizations to help fix with that, including a smarter shade caching, which is cutting the pre-compiled shaders by 25%, and PSO memory by 20%, with leaner textures, graphics, and collision meshes that should help across the board. Plus, this has helped smooth out replays and improved threading on lower core CPUs. They've also retuned ray tracing global illumination for better performance, and cleaned up some weapon gadget customization screen as well. I've actually noticed, yeah, the shader compilation has happened a lot faster, so props to them on that one. As I mentioned, we did have some content and bug fixes here, mostly with animation, audio, as well as customization trees. But for the massive ones pertaining to gameplay, they have improved the destruction to reduce jitter and prevent buildings from jumping during collisions. In a major one here for power shift, the incorrect team could win if overtime was triggered, which happened while the platform is at the center of the map, so they have adjusted that there for the percentages. Also an update here from the anti-cheat team on security. Denuvo has fully rolled out and is working almost beyond expectations. They also working on something called Any Brain Roll, which is also complete and proved to be a valuable tool in detecting Zim and Cronus Zen-like devices. Yes, they are finally implementing this and working on those bans. So if you're using one of those modded controllers, they are coming for you as well. They mentioned they're constantly improving their detections here, so don't worry on that front as well. I also do want to address the de novo stuff here. Some people were like, well, why are they implementing de novo? This game doesn't have DRM, it doesn't need DRM because it's a free-to-play game. Just for those unaware, de novo is not just for DRM capabilities. In fact, they're not even using the DRM side of this tool. De novo does have its own anti-cheat system built in, and it actually does work fairly well, and is better than a lot of their predecessors. So just to clarify there, de novo has their own form of anti-cheat, much like EAC and a few others you've used, maybe even like BattleEye. They're not using the DRM side of it, they're using the anti-cheat version of it. Still really cool there, as they mentioned, it's working beyond their expectations. Next up here, and I want to backtrack to the major side of things. Again, I might have a whole video dedicated to this because there's just so much to cover. But they did drop a brand new Grand Majors esport trailer, so that one is up on their YouTube if you did want to enjoy and watch that. I'll obviously play a little clip here for you all. But on top of that, they did drop a Finals RTE Episode 3 and the seeding reveal, where they did showcase all the teams that are going to be entered into TGM 25, which again stands for the Grand Major. So they have the new bracket systems here, all the new placements and everything that's going to happen for Day 1, Day 2, and etc. And they also do finally showcase off for those that are showing up in person. They do something special here for you, which is a TGM skin bundle, which applies to the M60, the XP54, as well as the F-Car. So pretty cool there. I know they also have some IRL stuff to snag there as well. We still have to wait on those details though for sure. With that though, we have one more section here for TGM, and this does have to do with a hidden bundle that's in the game right now. I do want to give a shout out to Knack over on my Discord for making me aware of this bundle, so thank you very much. I appreciate that, as this one is fairly hidden and not really talked about right now. But if we do look over in the customization side of things, we actually do have some hidden cosmetics here. We can see this one, for example, the Grandstand Glory Epic outfit, which as you see on the right here says TGM 25 Pass. So it looks like there's going to be like another battle pass or sort of pass tied with TGM. And there's actually a ton of cosmetics tied to this, like even a pet, like I showed the full outfit, an emote, even a hat as well. Some weapon charms and even weapon skins. So very cool there. It does seem like it's going to be sort of like a mini pass tied into this season. Although the details on that are still murky, we'll have to wait and see. But we did have Embark Dusty actually confirm this is coming. As this post showed, this actually happened over on Like Commit stream, where Dusty does mention that info is coming out soon. So we will have to wait and see on that. Last up here, of course, we do this mention most for my community. I'm having a ton of giveaways today, so check out the Discord for those. But to jump over here, we have the Star Models page and the features from those. The first one here we have from Gatling Fumes, what he's calling Peak. Honestly, I'm not even sure what to make of this at this point. This could be maybe a Switch 1 version of the game, but it made it to the Star Models page, and it is of a cosmetic, so I will feature it. Given that we're doing another Blast Off LTM and the last one was pixelated, or at least had a filter over the top, actually it does kind of tie in quite nice, and maybe they do some pixelated cosmetics in the future. Next up here we have one from Advance, who calls this one Via Security Chief, Augmented and Loaded. This one looks great, absolutely love the cosmetic tie-ins here, and the all-white always looks so nice. Next up here we have one from Wookie1967, who shows off Moist Critical in the finals. Again, this was around the time that Moist Critical was playing a ton of the finals, so super cool to see another rendition here. Fourth up here we have one from Walta, who shows off his Via Crew cosmetic. Again, this is when Via was a sponsorship, and a very nice full tie-in with all the white there. This one works as well, almost seems like a store bundle, so very, very nice. Last up here but not least, we have one from Remedimston, who shows off a tactical Gundam outfit. This one with a nice twist, not using the robot body, but the head instead. And I actually think it works quite nice here. So a very nice militarized version of it, and a cool tie-in. Overall, chill out cover for today's video. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuce.